let me introduce first Steve Brunsden, VP of Business Development for Jupiter Avionics. And first of all, let's just start with the basics. What's Jupiter Avionics? Tell us all about yourselves.
Okay. Jupiter Avionics is a company located in British Columbia, in Kelowna, in the interior of British Columbia, and we are basically evolved out of the reorganization of Northern Airborne Technology, and the engineering group decided to get together and restart the organization and come up with similar products. The major forte is aircraft audio, helicopter audio, control, selection, management, and consequently we've grown over the last 7 years. We're pretty pleased that in the last 7 consecutive new product introductions here at AEA, we've managed 54 new products, so which is not a bad track record.
What do you do in your spare time?
Yeah, very true. But let me think. The benefit that we had to start with was that the experience, because we come from NAT, we had something with the original 6 or 7 people, we had something like 140 years of aviation, audio, manufacturing and design experience, which we brought to the table. The other significant factor was the approvals. With Transport Canada, we very quickly obtained a DAO, Design Design Approval Organization, and that means we can witness most of our own testing. We can bless minor changes ourselves, so the delays of getting product to market are dramatically reduced, and that's pretty good from us from a business point of view. As far as the products themselves are concerned, there's 4 main product groupings. The first being the audio controllers, this panel here and this one here. Really the flagship, the 95, the JA95 and the JA94.
Which is surprisingly a very competitive aspect of the overall avionics business, isn't it?
Right, it is. There's a number of players in that market. One of the key factors is that our chief of design, Ken Veach, is in fact one of the founders of Northern Airborne, so his experience is vast, and he's produced these boxes with a considerable number of innovations and new distinguishing features, we think discriminators that make them desirable. And we've been having significant successes with the boxes concerned. Two of the things is the actual lighting of the legends here. A, they're all interchangeable, and B, the unique way we actually balance the lighting, we can swap these around without altering the overall level of illumination, which in some cases there's pretty stringent requirements for that. The other thing is that we decided these panels, you need to adjust them completely to whatever radios they're mating up with and so on and so forth, and that adjustment usually meant on the side of the box there's a row of screwdriver holes, and you spend a long time setting the thing up. Well, we've done it all.
Oh joy, huh?
Yes, yeah, fun, real fun. We've done it through a 3.5mm plug on the front from your laptop, so the whole thing is a lot slicker.
Lot easier.
And also a replacement box, or you've got a fleet, you can just use the same program each time, the same file.
Oh, so you can share settings.
Yeah, so
Excellent.
you can share settings, and so it makes it much slicker, much more easy. The second group of products is what spins off from audio controllers, is audio accessories, of which I don't have a sample with me, but the audio accessories include tone generation or message generators, so you can ground this pin, get this warning in your headphone, in the audio system. And we've had pretty good successes with those worldwide. We've managed to sell not only in the States, and absolutely key to that, I might add, is Dallas Avionics to our sales in North America. They are exclusive distributor in North America, and
busy bunch. I see them everywhere, working with everybody.
It was the right thing to do at the time.
I'll bet.
So we're pleased with that. And also outside of North America, the European stuff and Australasia is pretty kind to us as well at the moment. So word's getting out there, the name's getting out there, and the level of activity as a result is going up. So the accessory side of it, as I said, audio problem solvers, little transformers and adapters. People are always trying to put a military headset in a civil aircraft and there's an impedance problem. Well, we make a widget that'll convert one to the other. So there's quite a number of products like that. The third group is the wireless group. There are unfortunately no really new products in this group this year, but the design criteria, the major design criteria was, one, when you install this one in the aircraft, you don't change the aircraft wiring at all. So that goes into the standard jack socket on the aircraft. This one you fit on your body with your standard headset, so you don't have to have a special headset. Now you've got up to maybe 200 meters, 200 yards of range, so you can walk around hands-free and carry out various operations, compass swings, refueling, obviously attending the scene of an accident. You're still in touch with the aircraft and other police activities and so on. There's a lot of this wildlife, you know, the guy's jumping out of the helicopter to capture a deer or whatever it is, then he's still in touch with the aircraft at the time. So that's the wireless equipment. And then the fourth group really is what I call widgets, really, just bits and pieces that
but let's face it, what drives this industry outside of widgets?
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the first one was we found that blanking plates, simple plates where people, because of the reduction in avionics required, because you're putting more and more into one box.
Oh yeah.
You're getting space in the console and so on. So
otherwise known as the 5-pound into 2-pound bag syndrome.
That's right, exactly. so blanking plates became the first widget we put in, and then somebody said, well, rather than that, why not put an empty box in? So the glove box was born, and that's an example there with a glove box. And then somebody said, well, if we're going to put that in there, somewhere to chuck their phone, let's put a USB charger in there as well. So,
there you go.
So that's where that family of products, and they're anything from 17 Zeus holes high to a 5. So there's a lot of variation there, and those again are international. The other thing,
sorry. I have a question real quick, just to respond to our online community. We have a chat area and so forth.
Right.
Somebody's asking if Jupiter is working on any of the old NATs.
Well, these two here, in terms of NAT audio controllers, yes, that is there is a model that is actually pin for pin compatible with the NAT AMS44. And there's the one that's actually pin for pin with the AMS43, the single controller.
That's got to be really comforting to the legacy
yes,
operators.
The legacy operators. Some of the AMS series, the NAT products, have been out there for 25, 30 years, and I suspect obsolescence is looming large in everybody's life, as it always does with aircraft and electronics.
It's hard to defeat that if it ain't broke.
Exactly, that's the trouble. NAT, because I've worked for NAT, they were just too damn well made for planned obsolescence.
We should all have these problems.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
That's all
right.
right.
Had it from outside there, and we're having a lot of fun with the comments from the community, and we certainly welcome people to text on in.
No ribald comments there. Then
no.
Okay.
Nathan's hoping for a few of those, but
the other thing is from the blanking plates, it led into customized typically this a UK customer, a plate with whatever they want on it. And then the latest the latest new product is ventilated plates. We noticed at Heli Expo this year that there were quite a few blanking plates in helicopters with a bunch of holes drilled in them or whatever to let the air flow out of the console. And so we decided we'd try and offer a few of those as well.
Outstanding.
Okay.
With your position right now, and the comfort level, of course, is established in audio products. Is this where you're comfortable staying, or you look at any other aspects of the avionics community that you might want to take a shot at?
I don't think so at the moment. I think audio is our forte. The logical thing is what's connected to those is radios, but at the moment I don't see us going into the radio end of aviation. There's a big buy-in price for that, plus finding engineers willing to live in Kelowna, so, which isn't a difficult problem.
There you go.
Yeah.
The community at large right now is undergoing a lot of change. We're seeing a tremendous amount of willingness. How far it goes is another story on the part of the regulators to work with the community to build solutions rather than problems, or try to substantiate their position as regulators by over-regulating. Are you seeing this affecting your aspect of the industry? What's been your experience with your regulators, both north and south of the border? And how is that affecting you as a company?
Yes, the relationship with our regulators, namely Transport Canada Pacific region, is infinitely better than it was 15, 20 years ago. They have really bent over backwards to try and encourage industry now. The other significant factor, I think, is where the bilateral agreements that are in place between Canada and the US and Europe, and as a spin-off Australia, means that the testing and paperwork in Canada, our TSO, Technical Standard Order, is automatically accepted in anywhere else. And that, instead of having to get a Canadian TSO and then get an FAA TSO and then get an IASA approval, it's certainly cut down our work. As a side to that, the interesting thing is going to be what happens with Brexit, which is sort of near and dear to my heart, but at the moment there is no clear path for aviation, so we're going to have to see what happens there.
Let me ask you this also. We had this amazing conversation with Paula Dirks the other day, and Paula, of course, has announced the fact that this is her last year running AEA, but she's got a number of missions that she wants to see improved, both before and after her departure. One of the things that she's been very involved in has been training the next generation of avionics technicians, assemblers, and so forth. The fact that it's the entry level right now is changing dramatically day by day, that the amount and kind of training has become more and more computer literate versus just straight electronics, so forth and so on. How are you hiring? How are you qualifying those you hire? And what do you see right now as your biggest stumbling blocks to getting the kind of employees necessary to keep Jupiter on the front page?
Yeah, clearly the next generation, the computer literacy aspect is more than significant. Yeah, I'm struggling, but the younger generations aren't. I think one of the keys to it is certainly keeping in touch with the local colleges. We do quite a bit of that in terms of monitoring what's going on there and making sure our needs are known to them. We haven't really hired too many yet. We're in the process of, we've been using ex-NAT employees, but they all came through that college route anyway. So we're sitting pretty at the moment, but it's a good point, the business of future growth and future aspects of it, and we do have, there's 3 or 4 guys that we've got that are learning newer techniques and so on, and we're implementing those.
What advice would you give Paula at this point in how AEA can enhance the availability of future avionics technicians to be able to work with folks like you and others? What can the industry do overall to make your job easier? Well,
it all comes down to money, I think, in the end. We have to make sure that aviation remains competitive, or avionics, sorry, as an industry remains competitive, I think, in terms of attracting good, skilled, intelligent people. And if they're, I mean, to me, it's always been an interesting, exciting industry, and the innovations that I've seen over a long time are quite something. And I think, there are attractions there, but reality kicks in, and people have got to eat and live and all the rest of it. So,
Indeed.
So I think the money side of it is important.
Interesting. Got another question from the online community in regards to Robinson helicopter installations and that form factor. Can you talk about what's happening there?
Yeah, that's a smaller audio controller. Yes, that is on the cards. The problem is, like any good company, there's more bright ideas than there are warm bodies to put them into reality. That's our biggest problem.
We have the same problem here.
And some of them are very quick. Some of them we need to sit back and really analyze what the requirements are. What can we do to improve the existing products or the existing competition, as it were, to make ours more attractive. But certainly Robinson audio controllers is what we're looking at there. Really is that size of box is certainly on the cards for us within the year, I would say.
Working with Robinson, Frank and his son have been dear friends for many years. I go back with them and with Barbara and the gang for quite a bit. If you can work with Robinson and meet their standards, that's a big deal. They're picky customers.
Yes, NAT certainly has had a significant relationship with Robinson for quite a number of years, and it would be something we would like to get into, certainly.
2 last questions and we'll let you go.
Right.
First is, can you identify where most of Jupiter Avionics work is in reference to the entire aviation spectrum? Where do you see most of your market? And then finally, where can people get more information about your capabilities, your product line, and so forth?
Right. We are probably greater than 95% helicopters. So we deal with
figured. I jump into so many of them. I'm a helicopter pilot as well. Jump into so many of them. I see your gear everywhere.
Right. We've just got burgeoning relationships with 2 or 3 major helicopter OEMs. So we're starting to see that side of our market. At the moment, it's been customizing, retrofit, a lot through Dallas Avionics, as I said. But we're now seeing OEMs are coming to us and asking questions, and so that's the first step on hopefully a good road. The other question I could forget.
Just where people can get more information about
www.jupiteravionics.com. Jupiter Avionics, one word, and there's a pretty comprehensive website, and even though I use it, I think is one of the more friendly ones to be able to use.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Steve, we thank you so much for your time. It certainly has been just a pleasure to be able to get caught up. We haven't had a chance to talk to you in a while. I was glad to get you up here on the podium.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 61st Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Las Vegas, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Are you stall smart? Ever since Orville and Wilbur took to the skies, pilots have been taught that the more airspeed you have, the better off you are. But over the last 100+ years, we've learned that's not always the case. Take stalls, for example. The common belief is that if you have sufficient airspeed, the aircraft won't stall. The fact is, an airfoil always stalls at the same critical angle of attack in relation to the relative airflow, regardless of airspeed, configuration, or weight. Learn more at aspenavionics.com.
Avidyne is the pilot-centric innovator. If you look at Avidyne's 20+ year history, we had the first moving map, full color, that had everything on it. We were the first ones to do a primary flight display for general aviation. Avidyne has lots of opportunities and things in the works that will continue the leadership role we played in the past of coming up with new concepts and always having the best user interface to them.